and they're unique. You know, the four halogens are really unique, but they are so different. You know, but they're very effective for what they're good for. And one of them is killing shit. Just kidding. Killing the parasites. You know, the tiny parasites. Yeah, they do that with the hypochlorous acid and also the sodium chloride. You know, also I think is found in natural amounts in the body. Sometimes that's the stuff that they sell for that. They call it MMS or whatever.
I have had such good success with using iodine. I don't take a whole lot internally. I do take really well sourced kelp pills, but I paint the iodine on everywhere, everywhere, and it gets uncomfortable. And some people think they're having an allergic reaction to it. Are they having an allergic reaction? Like, is that possible to have an allergic reaction to iodine?
Well, what it is, you see, this goes into the semantics of the through the programming of the medical system of the catechus. Is the allergy actually is Herxheimer from parasitic toxin infection, the body reacting with that. That's what Herxheimer is, and it's parasites. The parasites can cause problems by pooping and irritating, causing irritation down the line, or they can purposely go to your neurological cell or your hormones and say, here, take this, and just rip something open and pour in cortisol, or just cause a headache, like from the cranial nerve, start biting the myelin sheath. Yeah, that's one of the things. And I'll just tell you this. This is something that I have identified, and I haven't read this anywhere. Okay, it's something I've surmised from my observation. So people are going to disagree with me if they want. That so I don't want to get heavy onto me just making this up, or whatever, or downloading it. Like, what are we doing? Are we creating, or are we imitating, or are we just being programmed? That's another one, and there's more of those I need to go into, because autoimmune is one of them. Whenever you hear the word autoimmune, that means parasites. That means your body is attacking parasites, but the doctors are so dumb and so misguided that they look at it, and they don't have microscopes, that they don't let them look at blood. That'd be like, oh no, you don't want to see all the life in that. No. So they don't even let them look at your mainstream. There's still people that do it, and they're really, those would be good people to go to, I would think. Yeah, Dr. Jerry Tennant turned me on to that. He's a genius in
So
Texas. He's an old.
when you talk about autoimmune, the first thing I think is type 1 diabetes.
Type 1 diabetes. Now, type 1, that's when they're born basically with no pancreatic flow. Yeah, see, that could be from that could be there wasn't enough iodine. You see, anytime that there's 90% of all pregnancy, birthing, infant problems are lack of iodine. That's where you get preemies. That's where you get the harsher conditions for the mother, where she more miserable for her to be pregnant. That's where you get the deformities, and stuff like that, or problems. And see, that goes into more experimental stuff, that theoretical stuff that I hit on like 6 or 8 years ago, and I still haven't found the proof of it. But it was just one of those things that you just know is true, but you can't prove it. And that is that I can show you reasons why I believe. There's dots, there are connections. You don't have to jump too far over into the water, to see it. But iodine is integral in mitosis and meiosis of the cells when they're dividing. If the iodine's not enough iodine there, you can have errors in the copying and problems with the mutations and shit like that. It's like the you see, iodine also has extreme it's very paramagnetic, which means it is influenced by a magnetic field. It's just tiny amount. It's not like an iron bar, you just pick it up, but it is affected by a magnet. In fact, it can absorb energy and release it later some other time. And that's why you can even impart energy into it. And that's why I try to do that, where, I'm not really, I don't do it to every damn one and all, but I do that for to try to put some good stuff. Another thing I do is whenever it gets real cold when you're making it, but if you hold it in your hand, you can heat it with your hand. So you're putting your energy literally into the formation of the stuff.
Type 1 diabetes, autoimmune disease.
Oh yeah. Now type 1. Okay, so yeah. Now I know a guy that got type 1 here recently. He was older. He was like in his 30s or 40s. He suddenly got type 1, which is rare for that to happen. But I guarantee you, it was from the parasites. What they'll do is, see, it's not just the fluke. It's the crew, that's with it. They get in the ducts. They cause ducts to swell and seal off. That's what glaucoma is, for instance, in the eye. The exit valve gets clogged with parasite debris and parasite, so it builds up the pressure. So that's what happens with the gallbladder. The parasites will get in there with the stuff coming out of the thing, and they'll like form a cement. Then that's whenever they pull their thyroid gland at the hospital, instead of just flushing it, which they could do for 30 cents, but instead they get to charge $70,000 to cut it out of the person, who will never be the same again. And they don't explain. No, I'm going to go to the doctor. So she went to the doctor, and after they did it, then she realized suddenly, wow, I'm gonna have diarrhea the rest of my life. I mean, it just didn't work, because it's constantly flowing bile. There's no control of it. Yeah, well, what it is, it's just, there's stones and stuff in it, and the flukes and stuff will get in there, and they'll form like a glue. It's, just the mucoidal plaques and whatnot. But yeah, they will not. In fact, I even looked at something out of Johns Hopkins or something on liver flushes, and it was funny reading it, because the way they interpreted it was they take in this lemon juice and this magnesium sulfate and then the olive oil, and then they looked at what came out, and they're like, well, this could be a result of those three things that they put in there. They didn't even want to admit that it was actually something that came out of the liver. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
And that's smart people. These are genius. These are super geniuses coming up with this.